Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again today. Today we have for Kamen Geats episode 10, and with this episode we get a brand new cast of characters with the return of our main three writers. We do see everyone. We get to see just about everybody who was in the DGP previously, except for our pink sheep and our I think he was the guy who was a bad guy. yeah. Yeah, but a majority of this episode, well, one thing I thought was actually pretty messed up is the fact that you introduced a new character and then she still ends up dying in the episode. You introduced her in the beginning, like in the whole like opening, and turns out she dies in this episode. She was a sheep. But yeah, what's up with all the sheeps? I don't know. But this episode basically starts off with Sumidi is now. We see Sumidi sitting in this house. Turns out Geats' wish was that he wanted the DGP management to be his family. So now Sumidi is his sister and Giori is his dad. So I guess he only did this to basically be able to ask questions about the DGP. He does ask the question of who, basically, how do you decide for people to be added to the game? That's when they said, oh, that's decided by the game master, even though Geats doesn't know that Giori is the game master. He basically decides who gets put into the game, but we know that the game master is also answering to someone even higher up than him. We see that he doesn't, it's still like there's someone else higher than him that can also add more people, and we do see an example of that in this episode as well. We do find out in this episode that Geats is kind of cursed to play in the DGP until he basically dies. But we know that he's really in the game to find his mother. We did see that Sumidi did pull out a bunch of his previous winnings. I didn't know they kept that, but she pulls out a bunch of his previous winnings of him, winning the game, it becoming the God of Desire, things like that. And he has a lot of winnings. I mean, a lot. She only pulls out 4 of them, but I'm assuming that the other ones in the box are his, or maybe they're just like other people who have won. But we know that he's been in the DGP a really long time, so we don't know if they are other people that have won. So we see that they end up going to recruit more people. They end up recruiting Buffa again. We know that when you get recruited into the game, you touch the bangle, or you touch the buckle on the belt, and you basically end up getting all your memories back and stuff like that. So we see that Buffa basically gets all of his memories back, and Ace is accompanying Sumidi on recruiting people. We did see that everybody's kind of acting a bit differently in this episode as well. We do see Kawa, my boy. We do see Kawa with his sister, and he's playing lottery tickets and stuff like that, trying to win money, even though he still doesn't have a job. So I guess that's still a thing. But also, his food choice was different as well. He didn't want to go to the place that the other place that they used to go eat at, and he wanted something completely different. So we see that some people are acting kind of differently. We do see that Neon. We see that Neon is completely different. Isn't trying to run away from her mom, and also she's just living a life of a rich kid, and isn't trying to run away, and she's completely obedient to her mother. But we'll get back to that later. We see that Ace, he says, aren't you going to recruit her? And then Sumidi is like, no, she wasn't on the list to recruit. And she's like, she looks happy and stuff like that now. And Sumidi asks him, do you miss her? He's like, nah, I don't miss her like that. So we end up seeing that they end up recruiting a bunch of people, a lot of people, just like how they did for the last game. They recruited a bunch of people, and we did see that a lot of these people died fast, either died or retired, like really, really fast. The game for this one was the don't capture the flags, was basically they're defending their flags from the Jamato. So, but we did see that we got the return of Panda Jack, but he's it's still it is the same guy who was Panda Jack originally, and he is DGP man, and we see that he is DGP management because he is working for Gidori, in order to they're conspiring to take down Geats. We did see that he has a whole different personality. He's like a punk rock guy. We get introduced to an old man. I don't know how this man survived, because he was on death's door. He's basically like on death's door to a degree, but he's a owl, which kind of makes sense. Old man owl makes sense. His desire that he wants to be young again. He wants to get younger. The other girl who they did so wrong, our white sheep girl, she basically wants to lose weight and get laid. Technically, she wants to get married, and I'm just like, man, these people. I don't feel like I care to remember these characters' names, especially the girl, especially the white sheep girl. Like, she died right in this episode, man. Like, excuse me, I don't know how to feel about that. I feel like they did her kind of dirty or whatever. So we get the first wave of the game, and it starts with everybody. It's a team. It's basically a team-based game, and everybody is like the first hit. Here's the first wave of defend your flag. We see that Ace gets paired up with Panda Jack. With his name is Hamamura, or is it Hamawara? But his name's Win. Technically, his name's Win, and he is. We see that he's been tasked by Gidori to basically defeat Geats, to stop Geats from this. We did see that while the first wave started. Yeah, the first wave ended up starting, and we see that Buffa is paired up with the white sheep girl and the old man, and they just don't want to fight. They're too scared to do any fighting or anything like that. We did see that the old man ended up getting the zombie buckle, but then Geats ends up taking it and trading it with the not Geats. Buffa ends up trading it with the old man to get the zombie buckle back, because hey, that's his. Like, that's what that's the buckle he resonates the most with. It's his. He switches it. He trades it with the old man and gives him the ninja buckle. So the fights, basically they're fighting off these Jamato, things like that. We see that Buffa is basically fighting all these things by himself because his two teammates are too afraid to fight. We see that Geats is also paired up with Panda Jack. Him and Panda Jack are fighting these things off, and Panda Jack pretends that, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom, my stomach hurts, and he lies, to basically leaving Geats there to fight all these things by himself. But it's freaking Ace, man. It's freaking Geats. He's the main character. He's gonna go off and he ends up mollywhopping all these freaking Jamato and end up winning the game anyway. It will end up making it to the second round anyway, because it's freaking Geats, man. So well, we did see that Neon does end up getting recruited again. She ends up getting recruited again after her dad walks in, and her dad, like, he brought like a certain presence to the room, because when her dad walked in, that this guy is important. He's important, and that he has something to do with the DGP. Like, that's what I feel like. I feel like he has something to do with the DGP. It would also make sense of his family's wealth, of their family's wealth, because he walks in with Sumidi, the way he was, and the words that he spoke to Neon spoke volumes that, yes, this guy is also somewhat has to be involved in something. So but if he's involved in the DGP, how come the mom doesn't know? Because she didn't know who Sumidi was at all, and she was also talking to Neon about an arranged marriage, and we see that Neon just, she was completely okay. She was basically completely okay with it, and her dad walks in and he said, is that truly what you want to do? Is that truly your desire? Stuff like that. And it seems like and the way his demeanor was, and the way he walked in the room, the way the music was, the way how intimidating he looked, like this guy has some type of importance. So Neon does get added to the game again with a new buckle called the Beat buckle, which is basically a music kind of based form, where she gets like a whole, like, it looks really cool, but she gets like a whole, like, guitar, stuff like that. The beat's awesome. Her whole henshin sequence is very, very cool. So we end up seeing that Neon goes in to help Buffa with after the white sheep girl dies. She dies. She ends up dying, and the only people that are left are Buffa and the Owlman. Wow, Owlman, if you know what that is. But gets left with the Owlman. And we go back to Geats, who has basically annihilated all these freaking Jamato in the first, basically in the first wave. I think that's basically like the second wave. So we see that Panda Jack is watching from afar. He's watching from behind the pillar, and he's seeing the man. This Geats guy really is strong. Like he ain't nothing. Can't take him down easily. So we end up seeing Naya in debuting her brand new form and ends up destroying a lot of basically all of the Jamato. And this form looks it looks really, really cool. It kind of clashes with her helmet, but at the same time, like when seeing it in action, like it really grew on me, especially with the way the music and stuff sounded. I'm a big dubstep EDM, guy, so that really, really did it for me. I like the form. I'm gonna hate it when I see other people use it, but we did see Panda Jack in this episode using Monster, which I felt like, man, that's a Geats thing. Like this whole thing about in Geats, the whole thing about sharing powers and things like that, especially when that main character uses that one buckle a lot. I don't know, man. I feel like the whole monster form, that should be a Geats thing only. I feel like the whole, especially with Buffa, like the zombie buckle, that's his. I feel like that's really his. Like it matches everything on him anyway. And same thing with Neon. I don't know what. I feel like this form right here, this beat form, that's all her. That's her form. Like that's what I feel like it should be, But other than that, we end up seeing that they ended up getting through the first wave, and we see that a lot of people have been taken out, and we have 5 people. We basically have 5 people left. We see that Ace says hello to Neon. He said, "Oh, that's a rival I didn't think I'd see again." And she's like, "Yeah." She ends up talking to Geats. She ends up talking to Buffa, stuff like that. We see I think that Buffa's a little bit more calmed down right about now. I feel like he's a little bit more calmed down because he's still he's still like the he's still like the bad boy kind of type, but I don't think he's like that overly angry, just ain't taking no ish from nobody looking dude right now. But overall this episode was pretty good. I mean, it ends off with Neon talking to Ace about what's going about. She still has a wish and stuff to fulfill. Like she still wants true love. Like that's still her wish. And she does, and Geats does tell her that he says, "Hey, you want to be separated from your mother, but I'm trying to find mine." And he says, "Oh, that's my wish. Will you believe me?" Since the whole thing of him being a fox, fox being very deceiving creatures. I don't know if she believes it or not, but I guess that's the only person, that's basically the only person she's told. So we end up going back to the DGP kind of headquarters. We see that inside of the lounge room, we see Panda Jack, and he's watching the screen, seeing all the eliminated, other writers and things like that, and he's talking to Gidori. I almost forgot his name. He talks to Gidori, and he says that taking down Geats, that is your role. Like you don't have to win these games. You're like management. Like if like it's your job to take this dude down. And he's like, all right, cool, but it's gonna be tough. But the episode basically ends off right there. But overall, this was cool. Yeah, this is a good episode. It gets an A in my book. But I don't know, man. The whole thing about Neon's dad, and also the Gidori talking to someone higher up than him. He's supposed to be the game master, talking to somebody even higher up than him. I feel like that guy was Neon's dad. I'm calling it now. We're probably gonna find out way later on down the line, but still, man, I feel like the guy that Gidori was talking to was, Neon's dad, because he walked in there with Sumidi. He didn't be like, "Oh, hey, you have a visit. I don't know who she is." He didn't do that. Like he came in with her. Like he formally introduced her. So I don't know. But you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought about Kamen Rider Geats episode 10. And I will see you guys next time. And remember, stay Henshin. Also, like, share, subscribe. Yeah, stay Henshin.